Have y'all ever had a moment in life, and I'm sure you have, whether you're godly or not, whether you had to choose right from wrong and you were very clear on at that time what was right versus what was wrong? For example, you had a moment where you could have cussed somebody out rather than just choosing the high road and handling it opposed to that, walking away, being silent, whatever that version is. Have you ever had the opportunity to get back at somebody and you know it wasn't necessarily right to get back at them, but it made you feel good? Just the thought of getting back at them. God dang.
Beauties and Gents, if you don't know, it's MoTV. Hey, Tierra, what it do? They see me, I can only be me. If I stay true to me, sit back and relax. Matter of fact.
Beauties and Gents, how we doing? How we doing? How we doing? You know what's crazy? This is gonna be the second time I'm actually recording this video because somehow, by the grace of God, my god dang on SD card, when I was hooking it up to my monitors and my computer, for some reason I had to format it, which made me have to basically erase everything that was on there. So, you know what? It's okay. Only because there were some new thoughts that coexist or align with the message that I already had prepared in that video anyway. And today I want to talk about pride over purpose. Why did I say it like that? Today I want to talk about purpose over pride. First off, I hope you guys are at least enjoying and getting some type of value from the content that I'm putting out, only because I know that the type of content that I put out is not pushed by society. So it really reaches the people that needs to hear it at the time by the grace of the Lord. I'm not really focused on the algorithm. I'm not one to follow a trend. I'm not one to speak on things that are popular. I speak on things that I feel have value and need to be spoken about because people have normalized either not talking about it or the opposite of what I believe should be correct. Not because I believe it, but because that's what the Bible says and just morally right. Okay? So anyway, when it comes to purpose over pride, so a little story time just to get you into the mind frame a little further. There's somebody in my life that is very important to me, but they're not as close and as dear or near to me in relationship as I'd like them to be, just based off the dynamic of what our relationship has had to be. Okay? And they're in a situation right now where they're a little bit, or they were at the time, they were at the time in a situation where they were in need of a ride. And I felt as if they didn't go about requesting that. They were in need of something, right? They were in a situation where they were in need of other people. And I felt as though they weren't necessarily respecting my time nor my kindness by going about it in a way that I just feel was, best, right? They needed a ride. And instead of asking me, they just kind of assumed that I would just do it for them. And it wasn't even the fact of like, you were thinking like, oh, she'd give me a ride, because it's not like that was wrong, but it's the fact that you didn't feel that you needed to ask me what I had going on for me to even be able to confirm whether or not I could give you that ride. It was a sense of entitlement and control. And I have this thing just based off my upbringing and the type of relationships that I've been in where I feel like my voice has been silenced, right? So, and this is not to excuse anything. I'm really just drawing you the picture of like why my mind was in this mind frame, right? So coming from that, I vocalized, I was like, well, I mean, you didn't even ask me what I had going on to make sure I could do it. Like, you didn't even ask me yet. And in them being in their pride, they decided to go around that and just be like, forget it. I don't need a ride. And I was upset. So I was like, okay, cool. Somebody else can take you because you ain't asked me yet. That's all I'm waiting on. I'm waiting on you to ask me. And one of my siblings and they're always trying to tell me to choose the godly route, which is right. But it's like at the time, I didn't want to hear that. But it was a moment where he was like, you know that they need you. You know how this person is. You know this. You know that. Why don't you just choose what's right? You know God is working on this. You know why? It's like, I know a lot of things, but I also know how I feel. And at the time, I felt like I was saying this, I felt like I was standing on a boundary on the fact of my boundary is you will not take advantage of me anymore. So in my mind, I was sticking to a boundary by not falling into what I always do and just giving in and be like, okay, yeah, I'll do it, or blah blah blah. I'll do this with, even though you didn't ask me or respect the request that I had, I'll still do it. I felt that was me standing on a boundary, and still to this day, I feel like I was standing on a boundary, but was it necessary at that time, right? So long story short, and I was open to, going to get that person, but things still didn't work out to where that happened. Because in my mind, you had canceled on me too many times, and I'm not downing the person. I'm just saying, because in my mind, too many factors had gone on for me to feel a sense of kindness in my heart at that time, right? So later on, somebody else goes to get him, and we're all at dinner. And that, I kind of let it go after a while, because I was like, you know what, that's just how that person is. Whatever it is, what it is. And that was probably like maybe 2-3 months ago, if that long. It wasn't that long ago. And I've been feeling lately, the Lord has been convicting me on the way that I am towards people, the way that I come off, not in the sense of like be a certain way around people, but instead be aware of the character and the energy and the persona that you're giving off to people, because you represent me, being God. So my thing is, I'm very outspoken. And since I'm at an age now where I've gotten confident enough to stand on a boundary, I've gotten confident enough to speak up for myself, I've gotten confident enough and comfortable enough with everyone not liking me, it's hard sometimes for me not to speak on things, whether I believe I'm right or wrong. I've always felt like I have like the heart of an activist. So I'm like super passionate about speaking up for the people that can't be spoken up for. But because I'm so passionate about it, and I also still have pains and triggers that I have not completely worked on or let the Lord work through, I can come off very hostile in what I'm saying, whether it's true or not. And that messes up the message of what I'm saying. And I feel the Lord has been telling me to be very conscious and intentional with the words that I speak, because I have a very powerful tongue. I believe everyone has a gift. And I've always known mine had, one of my gifts was the way that I speak and what the effect I have on people based off what I say to them. But as I get older, I'm starting to realize he's pushing me more into that than I wanted at the time, and still do. So I say a lot to say, he's been convicting me to be very aware of what I'm saying, who I'm saying it to, why are you saying it, how are you handling it in the way that you're saying it? Is it coming from emotion, or is it coming from me, being God? Are you leaning into your flesh, or are you leaning into me, being God? Is this coming from a trigger, or is this coming from something that I told you to do? So, yeah. And in the midst of me going through these thoughts for like the past, I want to say, month, there are 2 incidents on my mind where specifically I remember how I came off at them. It was one situation with a couple, and then it was another situation with a choreographer that I used to train under. And both times I responded from emotion. And even if I was valid in how I felt, the way that I handled it was wrong. And I am ashamed of how I handled it, because it's embarrassing. But I'm not ashamed to like talk about it. It's just something that I never want to do again. I don't want to be that version of myself again, not talking and reacting from pain. I don't want to react. I want to respond, but I don't want to react. So I gotta ask the Lord exactly like what he wants me to do in those 2 particular situations, since they've been at the forefront of my mind, because at the time, I did apologize to both parties in each situation when it happened. So I'm just kind of confused now, like what he wants me to do. But I'm really speaking on this because I don't want us to get so wrapped up in our pride and our human emotion and how we feel about things, and coming from a place of trying to self-protect and self-preserve, that we are affecting the purpose and the reason he put us here. Like, for example, how do I know that somebody has either come into or is supposed to come into my life that I'm supposed to shine a certain light on of God? but instead I'm acting in my humanly ways, and it turns them away from him even more. How do I know that I'm not misrepresenting him because I'm allowing my flesh to speak for me? How do I know I'm not blocking myself from certain blessings and rooms because they've seen a version of me that has not healed yet, but I was loud with it? I do not want to block my blessings being a bit. I do not want to block my blessings being very reactive. So I'm in a season right now where I'm learning to listen and respond. Listen and respond. And with me having that awareness, when I say every time, like, it's like praying to the Lord for something, he's not going to give it to you in that package. The last couple months, I've been praying for patience. I've been praying for direction, but I've been praying for help in my patience and directing me in that. And when I say he's thrown test after test after test to me, I'm like, okay, how you gonna respond? Why are you so upset? Why are you getting so antsy now? Why are you speaking faster? Why are you cursing at this person? Well, not like at them, but like when you talk now, are you upset? Why are you upset? Have you regulated those emotions to understand why you're upset? Stuff like that, right? So I don't want this video to be too long, but I will say our purpose is so much deeper and relevant and impactful than a moment. And I want to just remind not only you guys, but myself to not mess up the momentum of the Lord in just a moment of flesh. Not to allow the things that you're dealing with or you have not dealt with yet to hinder you from where he's trying to take you. This is for somebody else. It's not just for me, but there's somebody on here that's listening that you're already in cahoots with somebody that's going to change your life. You are already connected. Help me, Holy Spirit, please. I don't know why I just heard you're already in conjunction, but you're already connected in conjunction with somebody that's supposed to change your life. And if you hurt them, you'll hurt yourself. I don't know if that was just for me, but that's what I heard. If you hurt them, you're hurting yourself because you are already connected to and in conjunction with somebody that's supposed to change your life. So don't let your past mess up your future. Don't let a moment mess up his momentum. Be conscious, be intentional, be light, be better. We don't have to, I know for me, I don't have to live in that survival and protection of myself anymore. Obviously, that's still in me, so I still, can tap back in when necessary, but I'm in a place where I'm safe, both emotionally, spiritually, romantically, mentally. The household I'm in is healthy and safe. The relationship I am in is healthy and safe and strong. My connection to the Lord is strong and safe. I no longer have to look after myself solely. I no longer have to make sure the person that I'm with actually cares about the best for me in comparison to them, because what is best for me is best for us and vice versa. So I don't have to respond and react the same way I would with somebody that I don't trust has my best interest at heart. I don't have to be super on guard about things because that's not what this is. I'm safe. And I'm not even just talking about my relationship, but I just feel like that's the most relatable way for some people to understand without me going too much into my business and what I mean. But in life, you have friends that love you that are going to be accountable and check you on certain things, but you are safe with them to be vulnerable and express certain things you probably wouldn't tell anybody because they're not going to throw it back in your face. You know who those friends are, so be careful on what you're saying to certain people because you know who's not your friend, but you are safe in the group of people that you know who I'm talking about. And this is what he's telling me. I don't have to be in survival mode. I can put the shield and sword down. I can put my fist down because I'm so always like, my spirit is always like, what? Block, block. No. I need you to learn how to fight now with your spirit. Because all I know is the dukes in my mouth. So anyway, I posted on my story about this a couple days ago, but I just really wanted to go in depth and have something that was more permanent for people to go back and look at, and for myself. But it's like, you're not in a season of fighting anymore. At least not in the way that you know. I need you to now arm up in the word and fight with your spirit. And fighting with the spirit don't even look like what it sound like. It's praying for people when they do you dirty. It's praying for you to have a certain response and light and softness in your energy and response, because the heart, what is the intent behind what you're doing? So I'm going to go before this gets too long, but hope you have a blessed day. If these messages touch you or connect to you in a way that is helpful, drop it in the comments below. Comment thank you, not to me, really not to me. Thank the Holy Spirit, thank the Lord, but just comment thank you if this message spoke to you, because I really want to know, not that it's going to stop anything, but I really want to know and see what my community is connecting with. So, y'all have a great day, and yeah.
Go ahead and like it up and subscribe.